Hey y'all, welcome to Adventures with Aggie, brought to you by the Ryan Martin Foundation. Today we have our third episode of our series featuring Goalball UK. Today we speak with Mo and Laura from the Birmingham Goalball Club, and they're going to tell us all about how they got involved in goalball and what makes Birmingham Goalball so special to them. Well, Mo, Laura, how are y'all doing today?
Yeah, great.
Really
Thank
good,
you.
yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I'm so excited to have you guys here. First, let's just kind of go with background. Can you just tell me who you are and what you do? And we'll start with Mo.
Okay, so I'm Mo Ahmed, and I'm the chair of Birmingham Goalball Club, and also a player at the club as well. I play elite within the Goalball UK National League, and yeah, I mean, just in terms of like a bit about my background. So I've been playing goalball so I'm 22 years old now. So I've been playing goalball ever since I was around 13, 14. That's when I first got introduced to the sport at school, during like a sports club. And then ever since then, really, I've kind of just gone on over the years and taken it up more and more, as the years have kind of gone on. Obviously, working through the leagues, the Goalball UK leagues, from novice up to elite. So yeah, it's been a great journey so far, and hopefully that will kind of carry on going forwards.
That's awesome. Laura, what about you?
Yeah, I'm 27 and started playing goalball 7 years ago. I'm also an intermediate player. I am the safeguarding officer for Birmingham Goalball. Yeah, and got involved through novice, and I turned to intermediate just 2 years ago.
Amazing. Cool. Well, Laura, can you tell me about your role as the welfare and safeguarding officer at Birmingham Goalball?
Yeah, so I'm just a designated person to deal with any safeguarding concerns regarding children and vulnerable adults, just ensuring we meet all our regulations as a club, and so making sure that any of our coaches have volunteered, have gone through checks, so that they know that they're safe, that we're just keeping everyone safe. Welfare officer is just more to making sure everyone's all right, depending whether they're a child within the club or a vulnerable adult or just someone who's having a tough time. We're able to just check in with our players. If there's any struggles they've got going on, we can just say we're here for a chat, and just make sure people know that they're not on their own, that we are here as a club to support them within goal, but also within life as well, because we all have those challenges, and especially during COVID, where a lot of people have felt more isolated than ever before. We're just always here, and I'm always here to have a talk, have a chat with them, and just make sure people are doing okay.
Amazing. So I guess kind of a follow up to that. What made you guys realize that goalball was for you? How did you know that this was going to be your thing? Laura, do you want to go first this time?
Yeah, so I've known about goalball for quite a while. I was able to go and watch it at the London 2012 Paralympics, where I saw the opening games. I saw Great Britain play, and was really eager and to get into the sport, and a sport that I could play, because it's adapted for visual impairments. So it doesn't matter about my visual impairment, I can play. So started looking for a club, and it took 2 years. 2 years I started playing goalball for my local club in Gloucester, where I live, in 2014, and then it was 2 years later I joined Birmingham.
I love it. I love it. You just knew. And that's so cool that like you first kind of realized that at the Paralympic Games too. That's awesome. I want to see it one day at the Paralympics, but that's another story. Um, cool. Mo, what about you? How did you know that goalball was going to be your thing?
So, like I previously mentioned, that I started kind of first playing goalball when I was back in school, so around the age of 13. And before that, I'd never seen goalball, never heard of it, never played it. And it was just something completely new that was introduced to us as part of a sports club. So I went to a specialist secondary school. So it was specifically for people with vision impairment. And so that's kind of why I was lucky in a way, because that's kind of how I got introduced to the sport. We started playing it in that sports club. And then obviously, being playing at a sports club, obviously, me and my friends, we played it, and we all kind of enjoyed it. We all like bounced off of each other. We also enjoyed the sport. We started going to kind of school kind of competitions in the local area to Birmingham, which is where I went to school. So we kind of started attending these little kind of school competitions. And yeah, as kind of like 12, 13-year-olds, as we were back then, we kind of just enjoyed the sport, enjoyed the time of school, if anything, more than anything as well at that time. But it was just a great experience. Like, again, Laura, same as Laura, really, it was a sport that obviously I was able to play with my friends, and not only just, like just like individually for me, but also to be able to play that with my friends. It was a great kind of something that I took great enjoyment out of. And then, yeah, it's just really kind of progressed from there, really. So for me at the start, it was just something that I was able to play, and then also kind of, yeah, playing it with my friends as well.
That's awesome. I feel like the one thing that I've taken away from all the episodes I've recorded with different people involved in Goalball UK is that it's very much like a family community kind of atmosphere with this sport, which I think is really unique. And I love hearing y'all talk about it because I think that's awesome, that you did make friendships through the sport. But I guess kind of going into the next topic here, this will be the third episode in our Goalball series. So I feel like by now people should know the rules. I think Mark did a great job of explaining that, and Naki did a great job of explaining it as well. But one question that I'm asking everybody in the series is, how would you describe a goalball match to someone who has never seen it or never played it before? Mo, do you want to go first this time?
Okay, so you have 3 players on each team, each side of the court. You have a 9-meter wide goal. So the positions of players is you have a centre player and you have 2 wingers either side of your centre player. So obviously you have a ball with bell bearings inside of it, so it's audible. Everyone's blindfolded, and kind of the aim of the game is to throw the ball across to the other side. The ball has to touch certain points on the court before getting to the other side, and obviously the defending team kind of defends the ball with any parts of their body, and obviously their aim is also to throw it back as well and try and score some goals. Yeah, I'd say the game is intense, very interesting, and the main thing, I think it's fun to play. Like, for kind of sports in general, especially if you have a vision impairment, it's quite hard to find a team sport that kind of you're able to kind of fit into. And I think goalball is definitely one of them sports.
For sure. So Laura, I guess a twist on this question, what would you tell people to expect? I know the craziest thing that I've heard from other episodes is the silence, right? It's very quiet in these arenas, but what would you tell people to expect going to a goalball match?
Yeah, so definitely quiet, and it's intense. So like, because you are quiet, your audience are quiet, you don't, and as a player being blindfolded, you don't realize how close you are to goals, or like you might have just nipped it, or not realizing how close you are to your other players. So it's really intense, because obviously you don't realize what's always happening until you're physically told by like the coach or a team player. So that side of it keeps you on your feet, and it's adrenaline. You sort of like, you build up momentum as the games are played, and it's just really interesting to watch, because you trying to describe it to someone is really hard. You have to sort of see this sport in action, and then you realize like how players literally dive and in front to save the balls, and like the positions we do and stuff. It's really crazy, and you can't put that into perspective until you sort of see a video or see it in person.
I totally agree with you there, because when I was reading on what goalball is, when I see something, right, you just do a quick Google search and then think you can understand it. And I was like, no, this is going to take a little bit more. So I went to YouTube, I was watching all these crazy videos, and I was like, I have to put this on the show. This is amazing. And here we are a few weeks later, but here we are. Awesome. Well, Mo, can you tell us a bit about Birmingham Goalball's Fitness for Life program?
Yeah, so recently, with the kind of COVID pandemic, it's been quite difficult to run actual goalball training sessions face to face due to restrictions, and so we kind of received some funding in the past 6 months to fund our Fitness for Life project. Since obviously we've been able to kind of go back to face training, we obviously had as part of this project, training sessions goalball training sessions, but also we've been running weekly online fitness classes. So over Zoom, all of our players kind of get together. We've got our one of our coaches kind of adapts the session to ensure that all people are able to take part. He kind of describes everything really well, and so basically it's just a chance for people to kind of not only take part in goalball, but also to kind of keep up the physical activity in kind of like fitness sessions as well online over Zoom. So it's been great to kind of be able to support people, especially in times where it's been difficult to actually have those face-to-face sessions. So we've always had, some form of physical activity that people can take part in and feel kind of included in that.
For sure. People underestimate those Zoom workouts. I'm exhausted after Zoom workouts.
Oh, they definitely are a killer.
For sure. Awesome. So I guess just as a sport, can y'all talk about what makes goalball a unique Paralympic sport compared to others, whether it's in a historical context or just a personal preference, why you think this is unique and special? Laura, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so it's unique in the way that it's specifically designed around the ability. So like it doesn't matter, sighted and visually impaired people can play it because we all wear blindfolds. So in that aspect, it's a sport that's open to anyone really to have a go in sort of domestic leagues and stuff. And also it's very tactical. It's not just throwing the ball down the court. There's so many different rules within the sport to keep it tactical, sort of like making sure you throw the ball within a certain amount of time, sort of speeding up the game to sort of try and put the opponents under pressure, doing certain shots to sort of mislead the other team. So that side of it is quite unique. There's so many different elements of tactics within the game as well. Definitely.
Mo, what about you?
Yeah, so I'm going to go from a personal perspective. So goalball for me is, so I've played kind of different visually impaired team sports. So I've done kind of blind football and other sports like that. And for me, goalball is, it's just the atmosphere around the teams that you play in, no matter what, whether that be, kind of domestically with Birmingham or with any other team, as I've played for different teams as well, or within kind of the GB setup or anything like that. It's just the atmosphere around those teams. Like everyone we have this thing called Goldball family, and genuinely that's the best way that I can describe being as part of a Goldball team. It is genuinely like a family, and that for me is playing these different sports is something that I haven't experienced in any other team sport. So being a part of that is just so refreshing, not only as like just a player in terms of like, it giving you a purpose to actually play the sport, but also, when you're playing in tournaments and stuff like that, it does make the massive difference that, you sometimes need to win tournaments or just to enjoy them really.
For sure. Well, let's talk about your Goalball family, Birmingham Goalball Club. I guess what makes this club special to you? Also, fun fact, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. So not the same Birmingham. I'm not sure that my Birmingham has a Goalball Club, but we should fix that maybe. But yeah, so what makes Birmingham Goalball special to you guys? Laura, you want to go first?
It's really such a sort of a family really, and everyone mixes and gets on. So my original club, we had about 4 or 5 players and that was it. We're probably getting on about 15 players at the minute, and it's really good. We've had mixed sessions before where like the novices have played with intermediates, and that builds sort of your experience, and everyone just gels and gets on. We able to socialize outside the club as well and inside, and that makes a real difference. Coming from sort of outside the area, it was really welcoming, and I just fitted in straight away.
I love that. I think that's been a theme too, of just fitting in, right? Like it feels right. Like when you're there, I love that. Y'all said that a few times, so that's a big takeaway for me. Mo, what about you? How much do you love Birmingham Goalball, and what makes it special to you?
Yeah, so So Birmingham Goalball Club for me is obviously my kind of home kind of goalball club, my hometown goalball club. And so I haven't always played for Birmingham Goalball Club. So when I was 16, I went to a kind of residential college, the Royal National College for the Blind. So I played for that team at that time. But going back to Birmingham, it's just been, obviously my hometown has been great to kind of represent your hometown, which obviously is a big incentive anyway, but also just obviously I've got kind of ever since I was 13, obviously played with my friends all throughout school, goalball at these kind of school events, and kind of I've gone to college with my same set of friends and played Birmingham goalball with the same set of friends as well. So it's kind of, it's great, like, to be able to play with your kind of just friends. It just like makes everything so much more enjoyable. But also just Birmingham Goalball Club itself, like Laura kind of mentioned, we do kind of, even though we do kind of like social events, we do so after goalball training sessions, us guys will always kind of meet up afterwards and go out for a meal and stuff like that. We do kind of loads of different, we do like social quizzes as well, where we all kind of join in. It's just all basically just around making sure that we all away from goalball, because although the main aim of the club is to ensure that kind of disabled people, in terms of vision impaired people, have access to physical activity that's inclusive, but the kind of also the kind of secondary and aims is also to make sure that people can kind of socialize with one another, like people with similar kind of experiences, and people with similar disabilities. So sharing those experiences and learning from one another, and just being able to actually make long-lasting friendships regardless of goalball, which I think is so great. And long may it continue.
I love that it's more than just the sport, right? It's the community, it's the family, it's the social things, or the trivia nights, or whatever it is that you're doing. That's really cool that there's a whole community around it, and it's so special to you. I guess moving into, you just said long may it continue. How do you see the future of Goalball, or Birmingham Goalball Club? And if y'all wanted to touch on some of the success that y'all have had in the last few years, I'd love that as well. I don't remember who went first last time. Mo, do you want to go first this time?
Yeah. So how I see goalball going forward, like domestically for me, it's great to see so many people kind of coming along to sport, trying it out, and actually finding it something that they're really interested in playing and continuing with, which is really great to see. So like, just from a kind of personal point of view, hopefully that kind of develops as well and progresses, and we kind of are able to kind of develop those leagues, have more teams, make it more competitive, just introduce more players to the sport, really. I think that's a benefit and a plus in itself. In terms of Birmingham Goalball Club, the club originally started in 2012, and we started with about 5 or 6 players, and now in 2021 we have around 20 players. So to see that development over the past 7-8 years has been great to see, but also trying to make sure that continues. We've obviously got targets in ourselves, and how much we want to kind of increase that capacity, just to make sure that we're able to reach as many people as we can to introduce them to the sport, and make sure they're able to have that opportunities to physical activity and to socialize. So it's just about increasing that, making sure that we kind of push forward as a club. In terms of kind of our successes over the past couple of years, it's definitely been great to witness. Obviously, as a player and as a coach myself as well, for Birmingham, it's obviously I play elite and kind of coach novice and intermediate. So it's great to kind of see the progression over the past couple of years. We're obviously now we're able to kind of enter multiple teams into different leagues. Obviously in the past year has been quite difficult with no tournaments and stuff, but prior to that, our intermediates and novice teams were winning medals quite regularly in domestic leagues. We had, I think in one tournament we had our intermediates win silver, and our novices win gold. So to have that, in the same, all the different leagues were held on the same day, so to have that on the same day, it's pretty immense. So yeah, it's just about carrying that on, and obviously now in the next season coming up forward, we've got we'll be able to enter our first elite team as Birmingham Goalball Club. So now we'll have at least one team in every domestic league representing the club. So yeah, it's great to see.
That's so exciting. I love that. I think it's cool too to see how like the success and the growth are kind of parallel, right? Like as things are going well for the teams, you're making new ones and it's growing all around the UK, which is really awesome. Yeah, but Laura, do you want to kind of speak about what you've seen, I guess, as far as the growth of goalball and some of the success?
Yeah, so Mo's obviously mentioned quite a bit there, but I think one of the other things is obviously after sort of coming through this pandemic and coming out of restrictions, like the players are all eager to get back in to training, and the new people we've had a handful of new people since we started the club again after the pandemic. So yeah, that's just really positive that people are willing and wanting to be active and get involved as well.
Definitely. That's actually one thing that I was thinking about. I feel like with goalball, you're pretty spread out, right? Like socially distanced. I don't know if it's a full 6 feet we do here in the US, but I think that's really cool that maybe it can still be played during this whole COVID situation that we're trying to figure out over here. But yeah, that's awesome. Also, y'all say Birmingham so much cooler than I do. Birmingham, I feel very Southern and American. But anyway, let's see. Kind of last question here. We'll do 2 different pieces of advice. First one, what advice would you give to somebody who is looking to play goalball, but maybe they haven't, or they don't know how to get started, or maybe they want to play specifically at Birmingham Goalball? What would you say to kind of push them to get going? Laura, do you want to jump in first?
I think you just have to do it. The sport can be really intimidating if you watch like YouTube videos or something like that. But the only way you're going to find out is by playing it yourself. So when I had to find a new club, I didn't have any local to me. So I had to travel roughly about an hour on trains, which I find really scary. But it is the best thing to do. It's just get involved. The people are all friendly, so willing to help in that aspect. So yeah, just get involved and experience it for yourself.
For sure, for sure. Mo, do you have any advice to people looking to get involved in Birmingham Goalball?
Yeah, I'd say yeah, we're a welcoming club, as are every other club, I think, within the UK and I'm sure everywhere else. So I think it's just about, like Laura said, really just coming along. I think you just try the session and seeing whether you like it. I mean, there's no pressure to like the sport, but as long as you've kind of given that a chance to see whether you do like it, I think that's the most important thing. Yeah, I think it's just about, so remember that it's not all just about kind of playing sport. So to remember, actually, it's not all just about the goalball side of things. So goalball kind of provides a lot more than just the sport aspect of things. Like I previously mentioned, it does provide like opportunities to socialize, share experiences, and just to meet new people, which I know as a vision impaired person myself, that's quite difficult. So goalball and Birmingham Goalball Club just provides a lot more than just physical athlete.
Cool. Okay, well, how excited are y'all for the World Blind Games coming to Birmingham in 2023? Mo, do you want to jump in first?
Yeah. So we're really excited. Not only as a Goalball club within Birmingham, but just as kind of people from the town of Birmingham, the city of Birmingham. Sorry, that's a town. Yeah. So we're all excited, not only as players, but also as people from the city of Birmingham. It's kind of a great opportunity to not only showcase goalball, but also different kind of blind sports as well that are played. Obviously, we're going to be having Great Britain obviously playing against different countries, all in different kind of sports in 2023. It's just a great opportunity for people within the local area, people from the country, from everywhere else, really, to kind of be able to see there's all these kind of different sports in action. And obviously, as a club, we're obviously really kind of excited that these kind of sports will be showcased in Birmingham, which is obviously our hometown and a place that we play in already. So we look forward to kind of trying to see as many people there as possible. If anyone hasn't kind of, seen Goldball before or hasn't been able to attend any of the Birmingham training sessions, anything like that, then obviously it's a great opportunity for people to kind of see all these different sports and to, even volunteer at these, obviously, because there's such big events that obviously require kind of loads of different volunteers to help out. And obviously it's just a great experience as a volunteer to be able to help out with such a prodigious event.
Yes, maybe this is my chance. Maybe this is my chance to come and help out. I'll fly over.
Yeah, from one Birmingham to another.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. Laura, what about you? How excited are you? Anything to add?
Yeah, I second what Mo said, but it's such a great opportunity to showcase goalball and the other sports involved. I got my passion for goalball came from seeing it in London 2012. So having this same opportunity in 2023 could ignite someone else's passion for goalball and really see it as a sport like, oh, I really want to play that. It's just a great opportunity.
Awesome. Yes, for sure. I'm excited. Sorry, I lost the unmute button for a second. Good. Is that you look good, Laura or Catherine? Not Laura.
Yeah, really good. Thank you. Good promo. We'll get brownie points from that.
For sure. For sure. Awesome. Well, I hope somebody hears your advice and then they go out, they run into Birmingham Goalball and they're excited to play with you guys. But let's see, last question here. I end all of my shows on one piece of advice you would give to your younger self, goalball related or not, whatever you'd like to give to younger Mo and younger Laura. Mo, do you want to jump in first here?
I would say, if I was to give myself advice, my younger self advice, I would say, really just throw yourself into goalball, quite literally, obviously, as you're defending, but just generally, just into the sport. I think, so obviously starting at a younger age, at 13, I kind of didn't, obviously I played different sports at the time, so it's kind of like it was balancing, different sports, but like looking back at it now, obviously kind of goalball's become my primary kind of sport that I play, and I just find it's a lot more enjoyable than any of the other sport that I've played. So if I could go back, I tell myself at a younger age, like you can if you throw yourself into it now, you're going to get so much more out of it kind of down the line. And I just wish, I kind of just done it a lot more sooner.
For sure. I love that. Laura, what about you? What advice would you give to younger Laura?
I'd probably just say sort of similar to Mo, but sort of like, don't worry about it all. Like, it can be really intimidating and getting out your comfort zone is so scary. But as a result of that, it is so much fun and you've made such good friends. So it doesn't matter what you think you're good at or not. Just give it a go and it will sort of develop through experience. And like, it doesn't matter like age, you can still, like, it's not just a young people's sport. If you're able then and willing to give it a go, then there's always a place for you to play.
Totally. Awesome. I love that advice. I love ending on this note too. It makes me so excited. But thank you so much. This has been great. Thanks for telling us all about Birmingham Goalball, and I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you for giving us this opportunity. It's great to kind of share our experiences as players and just to kind of get it out there, really, and hopefully some people kind of take some enjoyment. Maybe they might even try goalball themselves.
I hope so.
Mo and Laura, thank you so very much for coming on the show to share your story and your story at Birmingham Goalball Club. Stay tuned for another episode of Adventures with Aggie on Thursday, featuring Josh Wendell and Josh McKenty as they share their stories about how goalball has impacted their lives.